Well, the story has been described as a relentless pursuit of success and achievement, a determination and work ethic unmatched. The end result, a shining example of put your mind to something and you can do remarkable things. And in sports, reach levels no one thought imaginable or possible. A lot of people did not think that Luke Glendening would even play college hockey, let alone 500 National Hockey League games later. Here we are. Luke, it is without a doubt one of the greatest stories in my estimation in sports. We get to live it firsthand right in EGR, where you grew up and played your high school hockey and football, and obviously a big, big part of that community. Regardless of all that, though, it is still an amazing story what you've accomplished so far in your life, specifically in sports.
Well, I don't know about all that, but it's been fun to be a part of. And like you said, growing up in East Grand Rapids, I've had an unbelievable support group around me. That's believed in me when a lot of other people didn't.
Luke, and I think I don't know if it was the day they announced that everything was getting shut down when you played your 500th game. It was right about that time, and you're sitting exactly at 500 NHL games right now. Does that you sit back and go, wow, like 500 NHL games, and you're essentially about halfway through your career, probably.
To be honest, I haven't really thought about it. I'm extremely fortunate and extremely grateful that I've been able to play that many. Like you said, I didn't even really have much of a shot to play college hockey. So the fact that I was able to play one NHL game was beyond my wildest dreams and expectations. But to be honest, it's such a day-by-day league, and I've played 500 games, but I still show up to the rink every day feeling like I have something to prove.
Well, you're at the rink right now, and in fact, first loss of teeth during your. It's funny how a lot of fans, especially casual fans, think all hockey players are missing all their teeth. Not the case. Here's Luke Glendening, 31 years old, 500 NHL games, not to mention all the other games you played. These are the first teeth you've lost so far.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's in the summer skate too. That's the worst part, but I guess I was due.
Your dad, I was talking to him the other day. He says, the whole work ethic thing with you and your brother Joe, who was such a great athlete and football player specifically at East Grand Rapids High School. He credits your mom, Leslie, for that bulldog mentality that the Glendening kids have.
I mean, I think it definitely came from both of them. He's a very humble guy, and I don't even think he told us about playing college football until we were, I don't know, but it seemed very late in life that we finally found out that he actually played. But both of them have been so instrumental in our careers. Not only in sports but just in life, and I'm so thankful for both of them.
Well, college football is definitely not in the plans for Luke Glendening. In fact, I still laugh to this day. Peter Sturzman, your high school coach with the Pioneers, told me that he had to sit you down pretty much every summer to convince you to come back and play again the following year, huh?
Yeah, it was always an ongoing battle. There was so much pressure. Not as much as there is today, but so much pressure that you got to specialize in one sport. And if you really want to play hockey, you got to just play hockey. And, he had to talk me off the cliff a few times about coming back to the field in the fall.
Well, the approach to everything you guys do is remarkable. Again, the work ethic, I've never seen firsthand anything like it. But one of the things too, your parents are very, feel is very important is faith. The belief in God and that God has a plan for all of us. Your dad was emphasizing that with me when I spoke to him last.
I mean, absolutely. I just think, if you look at my story, I've never had the most talent. I never wow people when they see me. I'm not the biggest guy, but I think he's just opened so many doors for me. Whether that was at Michigan, Max Pacioretty left after his freshman year. The coach from Michigan, recruiting. There's just so things like, it's not something. It's that he's opened a door for me.
think we lost you there for a second, but you and your brother Joe were, so respected, looked up to in the East Grand Rapids community, not only as most importantly as terrific young men, but great athletes, especially football, which is a big thing in East Grand Rapids, as most people know. High school, though, to play 4 years of high school hockey, and that's another part of this journey that's amazing. Not many guys play high school hockey, except maybe in Minnesota. And all due respect to high school hockey in Michigan, it's an unusual route to the National Hockey League.
I mean, absolutely. I think, even if you look before that, I never played AAA. I played house Graha at Jolly Roger. It was just my winter sport. So from November to March, that's what I did. And then I was playing another sport, during the other seasons. But, in all honesty, I'm so thankful that I did that, because at 31, I can honestly say I still enjoy going to the rink. I still like watching hockey. I never really, I'm maybe one day I'll burn out, but, because I did so many other things, I feel like I've been blessed in the sense that I still love doing it.
The passion for everything with you and your brother Joe is so visible, so evident. You look back at those 4 years at East Grand Rapids, and you wore number 20 there. I still love the story. My son comes along several years later and sits down with you to learn about leadership and character and all of that. You were kind enough to spend time with him. He plays 1 year his sophomore year. They hadn't retired number 20 yet. He got number 20, but they decided to retire it after his sophomore year. And I like to tell people it's the impact he had of that 1 year as a sophomore, nothing to do with the 4 years of Luke Glendening.
No, that's absolutely right. No, they should never retire that jersey. But it was a great experience in my journey playing 4 years of high school hockey, and it was great to be at home and be able to play with my friends and have friends in the stands, and I'm real thankful for that.
Luke, you were about 6, 7 years old when the Griffins came to town, living in Grand Rapids, of course. I know you remember going to some games, kind of got hooked on hockey and looking up to guys like Matt Ruckty, et cetera. It's a pretty amazing story after the 4 years at Michigan that you wind up signing a contract with the local Grand Rapids Griffins. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's just another God thing. Like, why, that shouldn't happen to a guy like, me, but it did. And I was so blessed for the opportunity. Obviously started in Toledo. That enriched my experience. It was definitely not what I was expecting. But that's all right. And to be able to play, in my hometown, I remember my first game skating out on the ice and just going around the glass and seeing so many friends and family. It was a special moment.
We had some fun with the 2013 Calder Cup team, the Zoom call a couple of months back. And Andre Nestershil said, when you got sent down to Toledo, you were like the extra forward. You were the 13th forward at that time. That's another example of how far you've risen in the ranks in hockey.
Yeah, well, on the coast, you only dress 10 forwards, and I was a 10th forward, so I didn't have a line, yeah. So I would get put in every once in a while, and then I was a PP guy back then, believe it or not. That was when I got my ice time on the power play. But I think it's the only time in my career I've ever played on the power play, but I'll take it.
I think he only played, 11, 12 games that year, and he made the All-Star game in the UCHL.
Yeah, I think I had to have played more than that.
Yeah, I think it's like 20, 22.
But yeah, it was great. The guys were great. The fans in Toledo were outstanding.
Yeah.
And just a great learning process for me. And, I'm thankful for that memory.
Yeah, what an opportunity. We have great building, tremendous fans, like you say, in Toledo, great hockey town. And then you come up to Grand Rapids, talk about the second half of the year and the run to the Calder Cup championship, your rookie season as a pro hockey player, and you're hoisting a Calder Cup, although on the road, but you got to bring it back to Grand Rapids, obviously, and celebrate with the locals. Pretty special first year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was unreal is probably the best way to put it. Just coming up, and I didn't know if I was going to be there for a day, for one game. Every day I came back to the room, for practice, and was wondering if my stuff was still going to be there. I was going to get called into the office and, get sent back to Toledo. So, just the opportunity, the guys on that team, there was a bond there that's so special. And, I'm so thankful that I was able to be there for that.
Luke, then of course you go on. Now you're a permanent fixture in the National Hockey League, a member of the Detroit Red Wings. I don't think it ever gets old, does it? 500 times you've slipped that Red Wing sweater over your head. What does that mean to you?
It means the world, to be honest. To grow up, in Grand Rapids, to see the Red Wings in their glory days, to be in at the Joe when, you just know that these legends of Detroit have been there, and then move to LCA with the state-of-the-art arena. Even for practice, just getting to put that jersey on with the Red Wings logo, to be a part of the organization, is something special, and it's honestly hard to put into words. And I'm not doing it justice, but I still get chills every time I step out on that ice, and it's something that'll stick with me forever.
Just again, amazing. I mean, you look back to your career too. You won a Calder Cup your rookie year, Grand Rapids. You were an overtime goal away from a national title in college. I mean, at what point are you going to hoist that Stanley Cup? I don't think there's any doubt it's going to happen. And hopefully it is with Detroit. You're always rumored at trade deadline for good reason because you're that guy. I mean, every Stanley Cup champion, Luke, has got a player like you. There's no doubt about it. Talking to your dad about that too. Everybody hopes you stay a Red Wing, but you never know. You just get that feeling, though. There's nothing's going to deny Luke Glendening hoisting a Stanley Cup. What would that mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, you're always just hoping for a chance, right? And we won my first year, and I was like, man, this is great. You win a Calder Cup, and then my first couple of years in Detroit, you make the playoffs. We unfortunately lost in the first round, but you realize how hard it is to get to the playoffs and how hard it is. You got to show up every day, and I think that's the biggest thing is yes, I've played 500 games, but it's an everyday league, and I've got to prove myself every day. And this year coming up is going to be different than most in terms of what's going on with the world. But it's the last year of my contract, so I got to show up every day and prove myself.
As we all know, Detroit teams are struggling, which kind of it's disappointing, no doubt, because Detroit, it might be in my estimation, it's the greatest sports town in North America. So they deserve a lot better. They've had a lot better, no doubt, over the years. Who's going to be that next team to win a title, though? The Lions, the Pistons, the Red Wings, or the Tigers? I mean, who's closest? I love the direction the Red Wings are going. You gotta be excited about the future of this Red Wings team.
For sure. I mean, it's, you can see things starting to change. The tide's starting to turn. And obviously last year was a frustrating year, not only for the fans, but for the players and coaching staff and management. So this year we need to take a step in the right direction. I think we will. I think as the young guys get older, they're taking a bigger piece of the pie and, really turning into great players. And, I'm excited for the future.
Yeah, and as well you want to be. Life is good, though, for Luke Glendening, despite everything going on around us. I know talking with you earlier, married man now, Paige, gal from was going to Grand Valley, I think, once upon a time, from the Toledo area.
Yeah, life is good here. We're, like everyone else, it seems like you're in your house a lot more than usual, but it's been great. And I've got no complaints in that department.
As you and I were kind of joking earlier, just off camera, the whole idea of the NHL and has that novelty worn off, if you will, when it comes time to take a draw with Sidney Crosby or a scrum in the corner with Connor McDavid. You had a great response to that. I really liked the fact that maybe when your career is over, you'll look back and appreciate that type of stuff even a bit more than you do now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's always special when you step on the ice, no matter who you're playing against. It's a chance to prove yourself. But playing against those guys is something that I'm sure I'll look back on and be like, I cannot believe I was out on the ice against those guys. But most of the time I'm just thinking like, all right, let's not get embarrassed out here. Let's do your job. And but it's been a blast to be, just to be in this league. And, I think that's the biggest thing is, it's great to get in and it's hard to stick around. And, I think it just goes back to what I've been saying, but, it's an everyday league, and it doesn't matter. I'm 31 now. I think I got in the league at 23 or 24. And every spell, yeah.
Luke, your dad told me some great stories. The one that I got a kick out of was, obviously in East Grand Rapids and at Michigan for that matter, he'd go to games and all he would hear was praise for his son Luke and Joe when you guys were playing at the high school there at EGR. He said, I go to my first few NHL games and he says, not everybody's on board with all the players at that professional level. That fans pay the money. They have the right to their opinion. He said that's one thing he's had to get used to is to hear the criticism of the occasional criticism of whether it be his own son Luke or some of the other players.
Sorry, you just cut out. What did you ask?
We're just talking about your dad. Just so comfortable and used to all the praise for you and Joe when he was going to the games when you were playing high school sports, and then for the most part at Michigan as well. But then in the NHL, the first few games, he said, he's had to get adjusted. He said, not everybody's exactly on board with my son and any of the other Red Wings these days. And that's the fans. That's the nature of professional sports. Fans pay the money. They've got the right to criticize when they feel the need.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember after one of my first games, he had to talk my mom down. She was pretty fired up about what they were saying about me, but I just said it's part of the job, Mom. I knew that going in here, and you're not going to please everyone.
Luke, you've got so many great things. So, and again, just such a phenomenal story. I love the fact your mom. The word is that once upon a time, no homework done, no sports. There were a lot of values that were established in the Glendening household.
Yeah, I mean, there were multiple, unfortunately for me, multiple times that I would have to. Well, the problem was, well, I'm thankful now, but when I was a kid, I didn't like this. But problem was when I wouldn't do my work or I would do poorly in school, I had to go to the coach. I couldn't call them. I had to go myself to wherever they were, whether that's a game or a practice, and tell them why I couldn't practice and apologize. And I'm looking back, I'm so thankful that they made me do that. But when you're a kid, having to go up to an adult and tell them why you can't practice was one of the most mortifying things that a kid would ever, could ever think of. But I've spoken about it a lot since, but it just taught me, so much about responsibility and taking ownership of things that were important to me. And really changed the way I looked at things like that. But at the time, that was one of the worst things going.
Well, it's a good way to get to know your coaches real well, it sounds like, huh?
Yeah.
All right, Luke. Well, hey, thanks for doing this. All transparency, people are probably wondering, Bob, you're not in East Grand Rapids right now. I'm actually out in the future home of a 32nd American Hockey League franchise, Palm Desert, California, where my in-laws live. So it's great connecting with you back in the Detroit area from California. So good, as always, to see you, Luke, and keep up the great work. And keep representing the game the way you do, which is just pretty amazing.
All right. Thanks so much, guys. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Luke.